today I'm gonna flip this dresser. So this is a dresser that David picked up for me. Somebody had thrown it out. It was on the side of the road. It's got nice wooden drawers, and each drawer has this like rattan detail. So it's got rattan on 3 sides of each drawer, so front and both sides. So it's going to be a lot of work to remove that, especially since the rattan was held to the drawer using glue and a ton of staples, which I'm going to have to remove. So that's going to be a little bit of a challenge. I might have a little trick up my sleeve, but we'll see if it works. There's a lot that I want to do. I want to remove the drawer handles. I want to make this a lighter color. I'll just get right to it. So the first part of this is actually going to be really easy. It's just going to be to remove this rattan, and it comes apart pretty easily. Pretty much have to pull on the rattan pieces. So that's one drawer completely done. Not too bad. It was just a few minutes. Well, I haven't gotten to the nails yet, but we'll get to that later. I probably have to take out the handle. Gotta get some tools for that. Very interesting way to put on a handle. It has like those metal flaps that you had in like folders as a kid to hold the papers together. I don't know, weird. Easy part is done. All the twine has been removed, so now basically all I'm left with is the unit with all of these nails all over the place. I can use these little pliers to remove each one of the nails one by one, which would probably take me 9,000 hours. Or I was thinking that I would use this tool here. This is called a multi-tool. So I've attached a metal and wood blade to this, and my idea is to use this to actually cut off all of these nails, kind of like a razor blade or something. This is actually a really handy tool. We've used it multiple times while we were renovating our house. It came in handy quite a lot. So if you're a DIYer, I definitely recommend having one of these in the house, and you can change out the blades to use it on whatever you need. It has gotten us out of a lot of little spots that we didn't know how to tackle. So this is actually working out. I'm actually surprised at how well it's working out. It does take a little bit of time, but a lot less time than it would take me to use these guys. So I'm pretty happy I thought of this. The only thing is it kind of dips into the wood once in a while. You know, the tool vibrates a lot. It's a little bit hard to control. This is not so steady, but I'm not too concerned about that because anyways, this is all going to be covered up. As long as I don't dip too far in, I'll be fine. I was able to basically either cut off or pull out all of the nails, so now it's actually nice and smooth. The finish is not great, obviously, because I had to cut off the nails or pull them out, and there were hundreds of them, so there's tons of tiny little holes in this, but that's okay because anyways, it's all going to be covered up. Like, it's actually really good now. I'm really surprised at how easy that was. It still took time, about 20 minutes per drawer to do like all 3 sides of the drawer, but I mean, if you just think about how much longer it would have taken me to take out each nail by hand, it's so worth it. So the next thing I want to do is sand down the wood over here. I want this to be like a nice, you know, bleached wood look, or, you know, whitewashed wood. So definitely this color is not going to cut it, so I'm going to sand that off. I've got my orbital sander ready, and I'm going to put on my gear and get sanding. I'm going to switch to an edging sander. I don't have the actual sandpaper that it comes with, so I'm just going to have to cut my own to size, which is fine. Seems to be okay. I'm using an edging sander because there's quite a lot of edges on this unit, so it would be impossible to use a round sander for that. So I'm gonna give this one a try. The only thing I need to be worried about is when you sand edges, you can't sand too much or stay too long in one place, because then it'll kind of round out the edges. So I'm gonna be mindful of that. I am finally done sanding the actual, wow, this looks ridiculous. I'm literally full of dust, like ridiculous. The worst part is I did my hair before starting this video and now my hair is full of sawdust, so gotta go do that again. Back to the actual furniture flip here. So the sanding went well. I started off with 100 grit sandpaper and then I went down to 80 at a certain point and 60 in some areas. So it took a little bit of time. It took probably, I'd say, like 3.5 hours to sand the whole unit, just because there's so many corners and sides and it's just like endless here. And I think it sanded it enough for what I want. I'm gonna do the edges by hand because I didn't want to round off the corners too much with the sander. When you get to, you know, the corners over here, the edge sander was pretty good, but it didn't get all the way through. So I'll just need to do a little bit of those by hand. All right, I'm gonna go to bed for the night and I'm gonna do the drawers tomorrow morning. These drawers are looking so much better already. I'm just gonna take some wood filler and fill in any little holes or cracks, and that way it'll give my finished unit a much more polished and professional look. So after giving this dresser a wipe down, it's time to go in with some stain. Before staining, I always use a pre-stain conditioner. Now for this project, I had used oil-based stain, and what I didn't realize is that after I used the oil-based stain, it kind of brought out the more orangey undertones in the wood, and they were already present in the wood, it just made them a lot more obvious. And so that kind of made me realize that I need to go darker than I wanted to on the stain to try and cover up that orange. So I did a walnut color, and I tried to do some whitewashing over the walnut stain to see if it would give me the look that I wanted, and it looked really good for the most part on the dresser unit and the drawers, but in some areas the orange was still shining through, like this one right here. So I decided it's time to bring out the paint. So even though I spent hours sanding this, it just didn't look like what I envisioned, and I figured paint would be better for it. So I'm using this nude pink paint and painting the whole dresser with it. You can see I'm just trying to get all the corners. I used a little foam brush, and I tried a paintbrush and a foam brush. I like the foam brush better, and obviously it worked better when I did the corners first and then I used the foam roller to kind of go over it. I took it inside, and in like regular indoor lighting, you can actually tell that it's a nice nude pink. So, you know, I'm happy with it. These drawers are finally painted. I don't know if you realize how long this actually took. But basically, each of these drawers has 3 different sides. It's not like a regular drawer where, you know, 2 of the sides are just hidden by the walls of the dresser or whatever. This is all open, so I've got 3 drawer fronts on each drawer, plus I have to paint the back. The back is also going to be seen. That's like the equivalent of like, I don't know, painting a whole kitchen, because I've got 3 drawer fronts times 5 drawers. It's like 15 drawers. Would I pick up a unit like this again? No. Am I still having fun doing this project? Yeah, totally. There's clearly still some work to do because the inside of the drawer fronts still look a little bit crazy. Now, I could have just filled this in with like wood filler and then painted it and called it a day, but obviously I'm not going to do that. I'm going to make it more complicated than that. I am going to get out some placemats over here, which I bought at Winners or HomeSense quite a while ago. If you remember my coffee table tray, the original coffee table tray that I made, I used these in that as well, and it turned out super cute, so I thought it would look nice with this. And I think the colors actually go really, really well together. That will end up looking really nice. I've got 5 of these. I need 1 for the top, and I'm gonna need some for each of these drawers. So I really don't have much room for error, because if I can get 4 panels out of each of these, that'll give me 16 panels. I need 15, plus I have 1 extra one for the top. So I've got 5, and that'll give me exactly as much as I need. Well, I've got 1 extra panel, so I have room for 1 mistake, but not more than that. So I'm actually going to start by measuring each one of these little squares in the drawers, and then cut out my mats to fit perfectly within this little box over here. I've got everything cut up, and now all I need to do is glue these little pieces of the placemat onto the drawer fronts, and I'm going to use some weld bond over here to do that. You see me use this in all my other videos pretty much. I think this stuff is great. It sticks anything to anything. It's amazing. All I'm going to do is make sure to apply a really healthy amount of glue to every drawer front. I want to make sure to get it all over, get it in the edges, and then I'm just going to take my placemat, place it directly into this little area over here. So this placemat kind of has like a chevron pattern to it. So I made sure that the pattern is the same on all the drawers. It's the chevron going downwards. The center of the chevron is going to be in the center of the drawer. So it's going to look all uniform. It's not going to look funny from any angle. And originally I was going to use these clamps with like a piece of wood to hold everything in place while it dries nicely, but I don't think these fit. So I'm just going to use the piece of wood to kind of like press the placemat into place. This is going to be super cute when I actually put it into the dresser. I'm very excited about this. I'm going to go ahead and do all the rest of the drawers like this. Just reminding you what it looked like before. It looked like this, and now it looks like this. So cute. All right, so drawers are done, and now all that's left to do is the top of this unit over here. So I'm still a bit undecided. David likes the way it looks as is, but I'm kind of worried that as soon as I seal it, it's gonna look really yellow, which everybody knows I'm really not a fan of yellow wood. So I think I'm just gonna give it like a really, really light whitewash and then see how that looks. I've got my paint here. I've got just a little cloth. I am just going to wipe that on. And then I'm just going to wipe that off really quick. That doesn't look too bad, eh? I like that. When it comes to whitewashing or paint washing furniture, what I learned is put more water than you think you need. I really like a light paint wash, very, very watery consistency paint with just like a little bit of paint. That gives you a lot more flexibility. You can always do more coats if you want it to be a little bit darker, but I found that that worked the best.
And I would definitely recommend mixing in more water. I would say more than 50% when you paint wash. It was probably like 25-75 to be honest. Look how pretty it turned out. And now all I have to do is glue on this placemat over here on the top. I'm gonna put on these nice little black drawer pulls over here, which I got from Amazon. I'll link them down below. They're just sleek, nice, slim drawer pulls. So I'm gonna measure the center of this drawer over here. Found the center on one of the drawer pulls and use that to mark where I should pre-drill each of the holes. And I've got my little screw for the drawer pull. And what I want to do is I just want to mark on my drill bit up to where I want to drill because I don't want to go past that. I'm going to go about 3/4 of the size of the screw. So the screw comes up to here and I want to do a little bit less than that. So I'm going to go about here. Make sure to tape that off. I want to make sure that my drill is 90 degrees whenever I'm drilling because otherwise my drill holes that I'm going to do are going to be quite crooked and then it's going to mess up the whole drawer pull. Cheap screws. These are really cheap screws. I barely touch them with the drill and they get stripped. I'm just not pushing them as far as I would have wanted to because I'm afraid of stripping the screws, but at the end of the day, we do have very pretty drawer pulls and very pretty drawers, and that's it. This was my last drawer. I'm actually done. I'm gonna put this all together now and show you the final product. So honestly, the whole time I was making this, I was like, is it really worth it? It's a lot of work. And yeah, it was a lot of work. It was not a regular unit. There's 3 sides. So there's this side and each of these sides to do. And normally in like a dresser, you only have the front face of the drawer to do. But in this one, you just had triple the amount of work. But I'll tell you what, I learned a lot on this dresser. I stripped it down to the bare wood originally, and I tried staining it, but I used oil-based stain, so I learned a little bit about the difference between oil-based and water-based stain. I also learned that I much prefer water-based stain. This is also the first piece of furniture that I tried whitewash on. It's the first piece of furniture that I've painted. All my other furniture, all my other wood pieces, I usually stain because I really like the natural wood look. But this one, you know, I went with a mix of whitewash on the top here and paint everywhere else, and I thought it turned out really, really nice. I kind of got to like learn a bit more furniture flipping, what to look for when picking up pieces for furniture flipping. Like I'll definitely look for pieces that are not as complicated as this one, but at the end of the day, it looks so good. Oh, you know what else I learned? I used the, I forgot what that saw is called. Or it's a multi-tool. I used the multi-tool to take off all of the little nails that were in this. So I've used that tool before, but you know, I haven't used it to like rip down nails, and I thought it worked really, really well. So it's good to know for future projects. So I'm not mad about the fact that this was a lot of work because I really did learn a lot, and I plan to use everything I learned in future furniture flips. And I'm also really happy with the outcome. And and I got to use these placemats that I bought like, I don't know, 1.5 years ago, 2 years ago for my coffee table tray. I'll link that up above. So I couldn't be happier with how this turned out. So if you guys enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel.